Get into the world of celebrities and Bravolebs with What the Reality with me, Cache Roberts. I discuss the mess of it all, from reality TV, Hey Housewives, to iconic pop culture moments in the making. We are talking about it all. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. Welcome to the pod. You are listening to What the Reality with me, Cache Roberts. What is going on? Welcome to Toxic, but it is Tuesday because yes, it is Tuesday. And if you are listening to this, whenever you're listening to this, that means Miss Karen Huger is finally out of the jailhouse only 6 months later. I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. I was one of the people that did want Karen to just go in, do her time, come out better for all of this. And I'm really hoping that is what happens. I'm hoping she does not get behind the wheel. And I'm hoping this is a clear path forward for Miss Karen Huger. But by the time you guys are listening to this, because I am recording on Labor Day, happy Labor Day to people that celebrate it. I just appreciate a good day off, even though I am about to do some OT. I'm just ecstatic that Miss Karen Huger is out of the slammer. I couldn't be more proud, ecstatic. And like I said, 6 months. 6 months in. And there hasn't been a month that hasn't went by where Twitter or someone will remind me that she is in prison. So like, yeah, it hasn't been a month I haven't thought about Karen Huger. And Karen Huger obviously doesn't know me. But I'm just saying, like, dang, like, imagine being, like, 60 years old in prison for a DUI, your 4th one. Like, I'm like, you gotta learn your lesson by now. I'm really hoping she's learned her lesson. And I know for a fact she's not going to want to go back to prison. I think she's going to be on Potomac. Yes, they're done filming, but I think she will be in the last couple episodes. I think she will be at the reunion, or she'll have a sit down with Andy. I think she will be back on Potomac in general, though. I don't know. I think they're probably working something out. But that was like literally my first reality topic. Obviously, I want to talk about our Toxic Tuesday topics because there's some quick topics I want to hit on. But yes, I just wanted to welcome Miss Karen Huger back to life as she knows it. And, you know, she said it'll be a new path as Karen versus the Grande Dame. So I think she's dropping that whole thing that Andy gave her. And she's trying to start a new path. We shall see. I do hope that, let me turn up my mic. Because the last episode, I was like, I couldn't really hear. So I'm hoping turning this up isn't too loud. But like also, my mic just needed to be higher. Let me see if that works. Wait a minute, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. I think the mic will probably sound a lot better and I don't have to like hold into it. I'm actually really glad today with filming because like I said, I am off. So it was just nice to be able to record. Like I'm recording around like 2 p.m. I can be done by like 3 and then go on about my day. That's the only thing with the pod. This week, there will be a Friday episode. What's the reality on What the Reality? I've been working on that all weekend. And it's just a lot better. I just feel like I took on so much. I explained that in my last episode, how just like, it was just a lot like producing 2 shows weekly when, I just could be working on a lot more as well. So it's a lot easier for me to commit to weekly and then 2 episodes bi-weekly. So this will be your bi-weekly episode. And I feel very much prepared for the What's the Reality topic because I'm really excited to get into it. I still have some notes I need to take on it, but we're really much into it. Still deciding if it needs to be 2 parts because if anything, the first part, it won't be as long. It'll be like maybe like 30, 35 minutes, maybe 40. And then I'll just stop it there and then do another 40 because I could really talk about it, but I don't think they'll be like hour-long episodes. But let's get into these Toxic Tuesday topics. TTTs. Because that was like a tongue twister. Basically, there is this talk on Twitter about BBLs versus hourglass figures. There are BBL girls saying that it is not possible to get an hourglass figure in the gym. I repeat, there are BBL girls saying it is not possible to get an hourglass figure in the gym. I don't know what type of stuff they're on. You got Ari Fletcher chiming in saying, gym is a lifestyle. I'm loving all these girls getting into the gym, but it is a lifestyle. And it's like, girl, how many surgeries have you been on? It's just always so funny to me when it's like BBL people are like, we worked for this. I mean, some of them are transparent about like their surgeries, but I do feel like especially in the Black community, we have tricked ourselves into thinking that an hourglass figure is what a BBL looks like. It's not. An hourglass figure is low-key given like Halle Berry. I would even say Normani has like a natural hourglass figure. Meg the Stallion has a natural hourglass figure. BBLs are trying to mimic hourglass figures in the most superficial way possible. But like hourglass figure doesn't mean you always have like huge breast, huge butt. It's all about like the waist scenario. So it is very funny to me how there are girls now on Twitter that have clear BBLs and have not worked a day for their bodies. Instead, they just went to the surgeon and did a quick little snip. And now we're claiming they have hourglass bodies when it's like, you don't even have an hourglass body. Like, you have a BBL body. And I even feel like hourglass bodies like can pull off anything. BBL bodies cannot pull off anything. So that's a quick little Toxic Tuesday. Do you guys agree? Can BBL girls talk about having hourglass shapes in the gym? I personally don't think you can because it's like you didn't work for it. So I'm like, what do you look like giving me advice over, these are the type of workouts you should be doing to get an hourglass figure. And it also is sometimes it's just a gene thing. Like, it's like, I would personally say I don't have an hourglass figure. I just have a wider back, waist area proportion. But I have a butt, kind of, I guess you could say. Well, I do know that. But I'm just saying it's like, I don't have an hourglass figure and I don't have a BBL figure, but I still actively work out to make sure my figure stays toned and tight. And I don't think I will ever have an hourglass figure. I try. I don't know if the waist trainers really work. They help with like excess fat and like bra bulge, but I think some people are just like naturally gifted. We don't talk about hourglass figure. Let's talk about Elandria Carthen. That is an hourglass figure, and that is a natural hourglass figure. And it's very beyond me that that woman was blessed with face, beauty, like face, brand, like what is it? Like you're never gifted with all three, like breast, butt, beauty, like the 3 Bs. Like you're never gifted with all three, and it's crazy to me how she was gifted with all three, and her waist is like literally the size of a Barbie doll. That is a naturally gifted woman. She's the only one that I want even added to the conversation, but you can tell she don't work out. Like that's just her body. Like I don't think she works out, or maybe she used to do track and stuff when she was younger. She don't work out though. You can tell. Like some people are just naturally gifted. And Miss Elandria Carthen, if you want to talk about, hourglass figures, I would talk about Miss Elandria Carthen. Also on the Toxic Tuesdays, so it was a little quiet this long weekend, thankfully. And when we say it's a little quiet, we mean there is someone that isn't causing mayhem like he normally is doing. And so there was a lot of speculation that this man was dead. And a lot of people were very cheerful. I cannot deny or confirm that I was cheerful. But we thought this man was done. And they're saying he's not. But I'm also hearing stories that Melania Trump was spotted at a hospital. And a lot of people were confused. But apparently that is where someone is being kept. And allegedly, this is all alleged, he has not been well for a while. There's been like foundation patches on his hands. And now they're saying he was spotted golfing. It was like such a blow tweet. It's been very quiet. Like normally he's always causing mayhem. there was a blog tweet talking about he was spotted golfing, but people are saying those were old photos, like literally from like February. So somebody may be in the hospital right now. What Queen Charlotte say? Sorrows and prayers. It's just crazy to me how, like, when this person is like silent, how we all assume that there's a possibility he is, you know. But that is what Twitter's talking about. Twitter's also talking about a bunch of leaked phone calls between Young Thug and all of his friends, fellow rappers. 21 Savage being one of them, a consistent one. I think 21 Savage was like the only consistent rapper that I've seen leaked on these phone calls with Young Thug, basically just talking about like all this Gunna stuff. He was saying how basically Lil Durk and Lil Baby are doing like high school stuff, unfollowing Gunna or like coming for him. And their albums are saying like they're not really doing anything. And he said he didn't ask any of them to do that. He said people are jumping the gun. He's calling out one of the YSL CEOs or something of the record label, and that record label, you know, president has hit back saying, look, I'm not a street dude. I pay city taxes. I have a family that I'm taking care of. So I will never be offended of being called a rat or a snitch or something, because at the end of the day, I take care of my family, and people are just saying, like, respect to the guy. Either way, it's just looking like Young Thug runs his mouth a lot and be feeling a type of way. He was feeling a type of way once Gunna was out, which we all knew, but he was also like saying like the rappers were doing way too much with the whole like adding him and stuff. I think Young Thug was like also shocked with like how much Gunna's album was a success when he came out. But yeah, just being catty. These are some long phone calls. I'm not really talking about him, but that's what's the latest. There's a lot of phone calls being leaked, and they're just saying like there's this tweet. It's like the messiest B you know is a man, and I 100% agree with that. I think men be the messiest, if anything. And it just shows how messy Young Thug is. I mean, he's just a messy B. He's just a messy B. But I don't know. I hear Young Thug's album's not even doing that well right now. Gunna was really like released, and you know he's been on top of the world. He's starting a run club in New York City to go get back to charity. He's just been in his own lane. Like he really took that time in prison to really reshape himself. I know he's dating Brianna, who is this beauty influencer. I grew up watching her beauty videos. Like she taught me how to do my brows. Well, not these brows, because she was very much like the, you know, like not the box brow era, but like the 2016 brow era. I mean, I haven't done those brows in a minute, but I'm just saying, like, I used to love her videos. I mean, she's like gorgeous. You know, he's been with her for like, they've been together for a minute. I love that for her. And yeah, I think Gunna's just really been in his own lane. People are obsessed with him. He looks amazing. And yeah, I just think prison really did him well. So I'm hoping Karen looks good when we see her come out. We're obviously not going to see any photos of Karen out without a fresh wig. That's not slid back till eternity. But finally, I want to talk about this little like Polish CEO and his lame of a statement. So this Polish CEO, there's like always a CEO just getting caught up in some drama, to be honest. So he was caught like literally at the US Open. US Open is happening right now, of course, which I would love to go to. Like that's something like definitely on my bucket list. Not even bucket list. I just feel like that's like a place to be. Like just I think tennis is like one of the most elegant, like bougiest, like easy to get into sports, like watching wise. Like I love that type. I love tennis as a sport. I just think it's really easy to watch. Like it's not like I feel like other stuff is harder to watch. I feel like tennis is like one of probably the easiest sports to watch, like honestly. But so basically this Polish CEO was caught like the US Open. Someone was like signing stuff. I don't even know who this man is. But he was trying to give the kid a hat, and this Polish CEO basically like took the hat and put it on his head like so effortlessly. And then he came up with a statement, which is like just such an a-hole statement. Like a simple sorry would have sufficed. He said the recent incident at the tennis match has caused a disproportionate online uproar. It's all about the famous hat, of course. Yes, I took it. Yes, I did it quickly. But as I've always said, life is first come, first serve. I understand that some people might not like it, but please, let's not make a global scandal out of that hat. It's just a hat. If you were faster, you would have it. Regarding online hate, I remind you that insulting a public figure is subject to legal liability. All offensive comments, slander, and insinuations will be analyzed for the possibility of taking the matter to court. Well, I guess let me be quiet and not say nothing. This man just threatened a bunch of random folks, saying he's gonna take this matter to court. So I guess he don't want nobody talking about it. So let me be quiet about it, because this Polish CEO do not play. He is over here not playing over a hat. He can't stand the heat, so he's trying to get out the kitchen. Let me be quiet then, because this man is trying to sue the folks. I told y'all, I don't care. Brain Rot Reels did publish a Starbucks video, and I'm still gonna eat at Starbucks, and I'm still gonna get 2 pumps of raspberry syrup, especially while it is here. I don't care. I'm still gonna do it. That man is out of control. Let's talk about these reality topics, because I want to talk about a couple of things for the reality TV topics. I want to talk about Miami, of course. It's keeping me fed. I want to talk about Love is Blind. And I want to talk about Love Island just a little. Just a little, because when I tell you I'm so over Love Island, I'm so over it. Like, my mental health can't stand it anymore. So like I said, Karen Huger will be out by the time you guys are listening. I'm happy. I am one of those folks that cannot lie. I am happy about that. Let me get the official statement up, because like I said, she was sentenced to a year. So she only spent 6 months. So it's from Fox 5 DC. Karen Huger is being released from prison early, just 6 months after her sentencing. So what we know, the Real Housewives of Potomac Star will be released on September 2nd from Montgomery County Detention Center in Maryland. Her release comes just 6 months after she was sentenced to 2 years and 1 year suspended for a DUI crash that happened in March 2024. So the backstory, essentially, what you talked about, Huger crashed her Maserati into a pole near Oakland Drive in Potomac on March 19, 2024. A jury found her guilty of 5 out of 6 charges, including driving under the influence, negligent driving, failure to control speed, and failure to notify authorities of an address change. She was acquitted of the reckless driving. Body camera footage, which was infamously leaked, and witness testimony revealed the severity of Huger's intoxication. Remember, she was Thomas Jefferson's concubine. That is not in the article I'm reading. And MNT testified that Huger swayed on her feet and refused medical treatment, while police footage showed her slurring her speech, cursing at officers, and refusing a breathalyzer and field sobriety test. During her sentencing hearing in February, Huger apologized to the judge, sharing that this was a wake-up call and that she would attend AA meetings for the rest of her life. Blasting the state's 6-month guidelines, the judge sentenced Huger to 1 year in prison. So she is expected to be released early, 10 a.m. on September 2nd. I'm assuming there will be a lot of press posted outside, but I think she's going to be real crisply about it. We won't see her until she has a fresh wig and a fresh face of makeup. And I don't blame her, because God knows what she looks like. I mean, we know what Jen Shah looks like, and Jen Shah honestly looks good. She looks happy. Coach Shah visited her in prison. Like, we've seen what Jen Shah has been looking like, and it has been fine. We have not seen any pictures of Karen Huger leaked. We don't even know what conditions she's been staying in. I know with Jen Shah's and with Elizabeth Holmes and someone else was in there, but and then we know with the Chrisleys, like they were prisons, but it wasn't super bad, at least for the Chrisleys, especially because they're white. So I am curious about the conditions of Karen Huger's. But yes, another one, we just got to get out of it. I mean, it's so last week's news, but it's like, this is what the reality, where we're talking about all reality, even reality I don't want to discuss. Taylor and Travis have announced their engagement. The ring is not pretty. The caption was, your favorite English teacher and gym teacher getting married. I don't know. I'm happy for Taylor Swift because I just feel like that woman has given her all to her career. I don't even listen to Taylor Swift, but I know that it's a hard-working woman. I'm a Beyonce stan, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Taylor Swift is a hard-working woman, and she's always been in these relationships that just typically don't work out. And, that's where she pours her music into. So people are hoping that she can continue bringing out the bangers. She got her album coming out, Life of a Showgirl. She's in a Renaissance-esque outfit, in my opinion. But either way, Taylor Swift, congratulations. Travis Kelce, I don't know if I like him for her. I'm doing the ace. I'm doing the ace from the Speedy interview. I don't know if I like Travis Kelce for Taylor Swift, but I'm happy because they were dating for 2 years. He clearly knew he wanted her, secured that bag, and she clearly knows she wants him. And like I said, Taylor Swift has had a terrible dating history. I mean, she's dated the men. I mean, she's nothing short of being able to find an eligible bachelor, but it never leads to anything. And it's always so sad because I do feel like she probably does want that married life and all that stuff. So congratulations are in order for Taylor and Travis. I will be updating you guys with like things that are like important. If we're on baby watch, if we're on wedding dress watch or whatever. But in terms of that other stuff, because I had to mute their names in Apple News. I had to mute a couple people's names in Apple News, but it was definitely them I had to mute because I was just like, I do not care to hear about these updates because they're going to be updating us for the most nonsense stuff. Like, now, if Twitter, they talking about some dresses she been eyeing or some venues, we can get into that because this is going to be considered like a royal wedding for the Americans. This is going to be considered a pretty big ordeal. So I'll be talking about that, but the little stuff, I am not about to be updating y'all every episode with that because, like I said, whenever you want to be shady, just do the ace. Like, that's what we're calling it. We're just going to start doing the ace. Yep. Let's talk about Fifth Harmony. Let's stick to music real quick before we get into something that I'm really excited because I'm going to play it through here. Fifth Harmony has reunited at the Jonas Brothers Dallas concert. The fans were gagged. I was never a Fifth Harmony stan. I am a Normani stan, and I hate that she has never really, she hasn't really promoted Dopamine, which is a really good album. I think that was her debut album as an individual artist. I'm really upset she hasn't debuted that because that album, I have a lot of faves from that album. But she hasn't really debuted it. So I just find that interesting. But I gotta get something up. But they did reunite, and yes, they looked good. Camila Cabello was not there, but she was in the comment section with like red hearts, and it looks like they all are following each other again. So maybe she really couldn't just make it. But it's very interesting because I just feel like Normani is one of those weirdly strange cases of like, you have the look, gorgeous, you can dance, you can sing. She has the look. So I'm always shocked when like her solo career didn't really take off as much as it should have. That's like Chloe Bailey. I just feel like there's a sense of like in these younger generations, a lot of individuality is being lost. I think Tyla is really good, even though people are constantly trying to humble her. I love Tyla. I'm trying to think new, but like Chloe and Normani would be like the biggest mysteries for me. I just feel like Chloe is trying. She's not guided right. I don't think her record label, and her record label is, I think it's underneath Beyonce's. Every time I listen to Chloe, she just sounds different. Like it just seemed like she always like all over the place. That's unfortunate to me. I had to listen to Tiana Taylor's album. They're saying what was the point of that? It's just a whole narration. I don't think it's really hitting numbers, and I was really excited about it. But like literally, it's like 10 narrations on there. It's like a whole audio book. I want to I want to listen to Sierra's. Sierra's, I hear, was pretty good. She's selling a couple of units, so that's good. But yeah, Fifth Harmony reunited. Let's see what happens. Are they gonna do more shows? Ariana Grande's going on tour, so her dates are gonna be announced soon. It's gonna be very limited. International tour, I think it's gonna be very limited. It's gonna be very difficult to get tickets to Ariana Grande's tour, apparently. So it's gonna be like fighting like teeth and nail, or what's the saying? It's gonna be a fight. But I'm really excited to talk about this Real Housewives of Potomac trailer. I'm gonna play it. And I'm gonna play it through my mic. I think I can. Obviously, this is from Twitter, this is from Bravo, and I do not own the rights or anything to it. I'm just playing it strictly for entertainment purposes.
Dear Karen, not a day goes by that I don't think about you. In a lot of ways, life has been moving on.
I'm going to try to remember to play it visually, but this is for the audio people.
I stand before you after 3 arduous years of my divorce.
I'm committed to you, and I'm committed to our family.
This bitch ain't even divorced. I know she ain't bring TJ around just to get back with her man. Oh my God.
To new friends.
Welcome, Angel. We've known each other since we were 18.
Since we were young, y'all are dry roughing me into this group. No news. I have a friend. Her name is Tia. I was just naked. Baby naked. Naked? Naked? Not what's that mean?
If you see him a coochie pig, will he recognize it?
I don't even know what language they're speaking. And some things haven't changed at all.
I just want $5. You are weird. You are weird.
I am Captain Save the Host. This is very White Lotus.
I see buzz. And it's the Stacey when she get here.
What is it?
Man, sometimes your breath can be a little on the hot side.
Wow. In New York, I lied.
What is your issue with me? Lied for a year, Stacey.
Stacey trying to start a cannabis line to be in competition with Happy Eddie.
Are we still talking about your situation? Everyone knows that you have a boyfriend. Right up there, Paul. Wait, is he chocolate?
You already see y'all.
Hey, Giselle. How are you?
Good to see you.
Personally, I just don't think your relationship is good for you.
Hey, listen, I know you're going through a lot, but Greg.
I have now realized that he doesn't love you. Wendy, I'm so sorry.
There's a constant desire to have an issue with me.
Get out of here with your size 11
Wait,
shoes. You want to talk about what she told me you got chin check?
Don't let this accent fool you.
I'm not my little...
You don't like her. Character is flawed. I never trust you around my husband.
You don't have one.
Stacey's been trying to get with Chris Samuels.
Say what?
You were trying to date Chris Samuels?
Yeah, my ex-husband. Like, no, we're not doing that.
Last time I saw you,
You had a bind up. Yeah.
you want to say hello?
I need some help with these hoes. Love you, Giselle.
Catch the new season of The Real Housewives of
Talk about a trailer. That was beautiful. That was probably one of Potomac's best trailers in a while. Like, theatrics, women, gorgeous, storylines. it seems as though we're moving kind of like in the Miami direction. There's going to be so much going on. A couple things. Giselle's clearly the anchor, and then we have Ashley and Giselle being the longest standing. Those are the only two OGs left. And next up would be Wendy as the longest standing housewife that's not an OG. So it looks like it's going to be them three basically narrating. If you would have told me Ashley would have still been a part of Potomac Housewives 10 seasons in, I would have been like, you are a liar. The way she has managed to stay on that show, I have no choice to stand. I actually can't stand Ashley and her forehead, but I have no choice to stand because I'm like, you survived this. I'm so glad Mia is not on there. I never saw her as the future. I love Carlos King, but when he was saying that, I was just like, Carlos is not reading. I'm so glad she is not on there. Some people, I saw one tweet that says Mia's presence is noticed, and of course Mia found that and quoted it and said, oh, I'm excited to watch. Like, just because she's been trying to get in with the Atlanta girls, and I don't think it's working. I don't think she'll be able to get in with the Atlanta girls. But I've only seen one tweet of somebody saying that. I don't think her presence was noticed. I think we're getting back to the classiness of Potomac and DC. It looks like there's a girl in there with a British accent that is Giselle's friend. It looks like Stacey is coming out as the fraud she is, which I called her freshman season. I said there's something very inauthentic about Stacey, and I'm so glad I was right. I tweeted that, and people agreed. I had like over 1,000 likes or whatever. There's something inauthentic about Stacey. And now we're finding out she didn't even leave her husband. That was off for a storyline. And then she is doing the cannabis. And it just makes no sense for me why Stacey would be doing a cannabis line. She's just so thirsty to me. I do not like Stacey. So I'm here for all the lashings she'll be getting this season because I don't like Stacey. I really don't. I think she's very fake. I think she's very fraudulent. And I don't like her. It looks like Wendy and Kay have something going on, and I'm pretty sure it'll be about Karen. I already know what that is. They have unfollowed each other right now. I don't think it'll last. I think they'll be fine by the reunion because they're actual friends, I think. But Kay has been so gung-ho for Karen, and it's like Karen has come out saying all this shady stuff about Wendy. And so I think Wendy's like expecting her to have some loyalty to her, especially while the girl's in prison. I mean, why can't you? What else is going on? I think as Giselle is writing this letter, we're going to get a half-season trailer, and it's going to be her delivering that letter to Karen. Can you guys imagine if she hand delivers instead of dropping it off in the mailbox? So if they ride by the mailbox, producers literally get me. She rides by a mailbox, you think she's going to drop off this handwritten note that's clearly addressed to Karen. And then she rides by the mailbox and goes into Karen Huger's home. Because Karen Huger, I wonder if she'll be on house arrest, is at home from prison. She delivers the note. And it'll be a sit down. I don't know if Karen will be at the reunion. Maybe for one part. But I do think Karen will be in this season. And then we see Monique Samuels back on, who is already annoying me. She says that Bravo offered to reshoot her for this upcoming season, but she didn't have time. Girl, you had time enough to film these seasons, though, and get your check. Something that she said she would never be back on. She said she would never be back on Potomac, but now she's back. I don't know. Monique gives me somebody that's always like, I'm so busy, I have this going on, and then it's like you always at every function, or you always posting about how you're busy, and I'm just like, you're not that busy if you're posting about how busy you are. Sorry for the lighting, guys, but honestly, I'm eating it up. The sun's going in and out. And I'm also glad I'm filming now because I'm shocked we don't hear more like airplanes and stuff, because I do low-key live like by a smaller airport. And I don't know when the shows are starting, so definitely wanted to film to you guys before the shows start for Labor Day. But that was the trailer. What did you guys think? It looks like Stacey is going to be in the hot seat this season. And then you saw my face when they were trying to like play it like Wendy was saying, I realized he didn't love me. I know it's not about Eddie. Eddie is obsessed with Wendy. That was definitely taken out of context. Interested in that. It looks like they were like an assault bath or something, which I've done. Those are pretty like deep and eye-opening. But I was just like, this is not about her relationship with Eddie by all means. I definitely know that. But now we know why Monique has came back, because it looks like Stacey was interested in dating Chris Daniels. Stacey is just so thirsty to me. There's something off with that girl. I just do not like her. There is something totally off with her that I just cannot get with. I literally cannot. All right, let's get to one more topic before we talk about these reality TV shows. I want to talk about Lochan and Whitney. Love Island UK. Lochan is now suing Whitney for slander and all this other stuff because of those racist comments or whatever. So there was a post that Whitney had made, and I have to go and find my receipts because I'll never forget. There was a post that Whitney had made in a swimsuit looking good with her natural hair. And I think it was, remember that was going on? It was like, you seem happier. It's like, thanks. Like, so she was like, it was that one thing, you seem happier. Thanks. I started loving the skin he called dirty. And there has since been, text messages confirming. I thought I took a picture of it. I'm trying to literally look for it. There were text messages confirming from Lochan, and this was posted. And this was from August 18th, 2024. I don't know who he's talking to, but Whitney did post these. And this is in support. So the only reason this is catching so much because all of this was coming out when the whole Janae Kenny stuff was coming out about him like secretly not him secretly hating Janae or whatever and like hating her skin tone. And then Whitney came out with this and people are like, oh my gosh, you just want a moment, even though she's basically proven this is true, this is what he was saying, all of this stuff. So these were text messages leaked. I'm going to post them on my screen. Like, please speak to Whit. She is fully done, and I feel awful, but I never said it thinking her skin is dirty. I feel sick. I crossed the line with the joke. But she said she can't look at me the same. I don't know what to do, Liz. So this is to Liz. He said, I effed up a bit. I can't bear her or your family thinking I'm racist or think that at all. I crossed a boundary. I will educate myself better and not ever make jokes, but she's done. I literally don't know what to do. I don't want to lose her, and I'm not racist. She's saying stuff like the world is going to know the real you. And it's breaking me because I know I'm not racist at all. And it says, like, at Lochan, if you can apologize privately, apologize publicly. So we had that, which seems yeah. Okay, so we have that. Who is Liz? I think Liz is her sister. So then we have, let me go to this. So now Lochan is suing Whitney. And this is what this is what Lochan's attorney had to say about it. Whitney was given the opportunity to apologize publicly for her remarks, but she's doubled down instead. So like when people were saying she was lying, she was like, no, I'm not lying, essentially, and was like saying all this other stuff. And then this attorney saying Lochan wants the world to know he is taking action against her. Half people out here still think he's a racist because of what she said about him. It's just not right, and it has to be corrected. He would rather avoid court, but there doesn't appear to be any alternative. The insider said, this is an insider. Insider said his particulars of claim, a formal legal outline of the case have now been drafted. They will set out in detail the damage done to Lochan's reputation in the wake of her claims. His mom, Hollander, will also be named in this action. Lochan is suing Whitney in the High Court for defamation and malicious falsehood and is seeking substantial damages. I don't know how you can even sue her when there are screenshots of you saying you didn't mean it. Or like you need to educate yourself. It's true. I don't know if he can sue her because she is outing this public information now. I don't think you can. That would be like Kenny trying to do that to Janae's friend. But it's like you said it. But Whitney has proof. She has screenshots of him texting Liz. I think Liz is her sister, saying like, please talk to Whit. I can't bear you or your family thinking I'm racist or whatever. So he's definitely said it. I don't know what case he has. He's saying he's filing a case for defamation. I don't know how far that is going to go because, like I said, you said it. So that's that. Let's get into these reality TV topics. On Toxic, but it is Tuesday. I hope you guys are still listening. Toxic Tuesdays, Toxic, but it's Tuesday episodes will be longer because, like I said, I just want to talk about everything. And they're typically weekly episodes. But this week we do have a What's the Reality? But What's the Reality? We're going to talk about half of the stuff that's going on. We talk about the topic at hand. So this episode will be longer. I hope you have the time. Get your tea, get your wine. And period. We're going to talk about this Love Island USA reunion. I don't have much to say because it's like a week later. But basically, I did not think it needed to be 2 hours long. Huda did not take any accountability. I did like the questions, though. Andy was like throwing shade. Huda has made Netflix pop up on everybody's timeline because she's saying she can't talk about things because Netflix had a whole... Netflix basically was silencing her. So the gag with that is people were like, is she going to be on a show on Netflix? The answer is no. This had to do with the man she is dating, which is Louis. You don't need to be an investigator. You don't need to be the host of the reunion to know she is dating this man. As soon as she entered the villa, instead of stopping by to see her daughter, she stopped by in Paris, London, to go chase this Louis man that is super thirsty for camera time and just honestly a reality TV slut. Like, I have no other words how to describe this thirst monger and, in the words of Leah, clout demon. They were posted outside together. She was posted on his stream, clearly canoeing. They have been posted up on red carpets together. He is on the current season of Perfect Match, which is showing AD and Ollie get into it and leading up to their pregnancy announcement and the engagement announcement. He is on that season. He has been on Too Hot to Handle. I think he's been on another show. Or Perfect Match is his second show. And basically the premise of Perfect Match is to find your match on that show. I guess the finale was airing the same day the reunion for Love Island was airing. So Netflix clearly don't want people to know it didn't work out for whoever he's coupled up with on Perfect Match. But like I said, if they really did not want that, they would have gotten tighter about it because you can remain tight. I just finished Love is Blind reunion, which we're going to talk about. We didn't know what couples were together for nearly a year until this airs out. They have to keep that on literally the low. They cannot even follow each other on social media. That's why I said it doesn't take a freaking Love Island USA host, Andy Cohen, all respect, Ariana Madix, all respect, or a freaking teenager supporter of Huda to find out that she's dating this man. And if, like I said, if Netflix really did not want this information out, guarantee they would have been like, you guys cannot be spotted at, red carpets and stuff. So her saying Netflix, I'm sorry, it's a Netflix thing or whatever. She said Netflix said I can't. I don't know what she said. Whatever she said, it was so cringy. And then Andy has stayed on her butt ever since then. He was like, well, does Netflix know Love Island is the #1 dating show or whatever, dating series of the summer? And Netflix said, don't at me. Netflix changed their info and their description, or what is it, their bio, I'm blanking on words, said don't at me, it's a Netflix thing or whatever. Either way, she's full of BS. And Andy stayed on her tail the whole time. So that is the real tea. She is not being considered for any Netflix show. I don't think she's being considered for a lot because of how ill-mannered and she's not marketable. Perfect. She's not marketable. Gorgeous girl. Surgeries and all. She's not marketable. I don't think she's going to be considered for a lot. And she's a very nasty spirit. And I hope she fades. And if she does, it will be these one-off shows. But I don't even see her and Louis lasting long. That is a clout demon in the words of Leah. But that is the real tea. She's not being considered for no Netflix show as of now. I don't think Netflix will even want her after this. Netflix, after that, then made Nick and Landria a whole page on their site. I don't know. That girl is delusional. She did not really take any accountability for the bullying and the racism towards Shelly and Landria. We got an understanding as to why they don't mess with her now. Because when Landria was like, hey, your fans are getting out of hand, the George Floyd stuff, which Huda saw, she was like, hey, can you make a post? She said Huda did not make a post. And then you got Huda addressing stuff from the reunion about her relationship instantly. But it's like she didn't want to make a post because she likes this stuff. She likes the fact that the kids are going so hard for her, that she has this huge entire fan base. And yeah, I mean, she loves it. There are a lot of people that just love Huda. These are mentally unwell people. I don't associate with them because I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're mentally unwell. Either way, she totally disregarded Elandria's feelings, especially given her and Elandria were like this outside of the villa, like, you know what I mean? So it's like Elandria expected more out of Huda, and Huda did not deliver on that. So we got answers to that. We get answers as to Coco and her little weird podcast interview with Winter, and her basically doubling back and saying like she was not being shady towards Elandria and the whole Taylor situation with the whole my man, which she was, and she was liking stuff about like Ace needing to pick her over Shelly. Coco was just like the biggest loser to me. And then she's like, I'm team, dark skinned women. I'm just like, that has nothing to do with the fact that like you're being shady AF as soon as you left the villa. I didn't know Vanna was being weird towards Shelly, saying basically like she was the only one that didn't talk to me. And it's like, when you clearly see these hate trains going on, just to hop on the hate train is crazy. Charlie stood 10 toes down. That man said, I still don't think I should have been eliminated. I do think, to be fair, it was Taylor, and I agree. Taylor had no words for him because Taylor only speaks when Ace tells him to. We got a lot of unseen footage. I will say, Shelly girl, the footage with the Huda thing, they keep saying all of it was not shown. Still, we did get an extended version of the whole Chris thing. Like, I'm bringing back Chris for you, but I'm also bringing him back for me. And that's exactly what it was giving. And it proved Huda's point, in my opinion. I do think the unedited version of her and Ace, I think there was even more that we're missing. I do think it was totally inappropriate. And I think Andy's question was valid about, like, now if they did that to Jeremiah, she was like, well, you see with Chris, it was fine. That wasn't the question. I wish Andy would have circled back. He's like, I'm not talking about Chris. I'm talking about if it was Jeremiah, how would you have reacted? Because you was crazy over that man. My only thing is, like, Jeremiah should have been out there longer. They brought him out at the end, I feel like, and I feel like he should have been out there from the beginning because that was a big part. But it's just production still like really trying to like give Huda like this saving grace, this saving scenes and stuff. Like, I'm shocked they didn't ask her about like her behavior towards like the bombshells coming in, and she's like just laughing about a lot of this stuff. That's how I know she's mentally unwell. And even Andy's like, it's crazy to me how you say you've like done all this self-reflection, all this self-love and work within a month. Like, you don't change that easy. And I don't think she's changed at her core. I just think her ego is so inflated right now because of her fan base. So therefore she doesn't think she needs to take accountability for this stuff because she's like, you know what? My fan base doesn't think that. Like, she has still doubled down on the bullies, and she thinks Shelly was like one of her bullies. When it's like, watching it back, she didn't like this scene. And it's like, but in the villa, did you feel like you were being bullied? No. But you're coming out and people are saying you were so bullied. Like, her opinion has formed from her fan base. That's why I will say Huda is mentally unwell. I personally have been seeing Nick and Elandria everywhere, which is leading me to my next topic with Love Island USA. The reunion did not need to be 2 hours long. Amaya and Brian are no longer together since that reunion has aired. And Iris and Pepe are no longer together since that reunion has aired. But Nick and Elandria, if anything, have proven to be the it couple, which leads me to this Ace and Speedy interview. I did watch the whole thing. I had some thoughts I shared on Twitter, which a lot of people agreed with. Well, not Twitter, on TikTok. I was just essentially saying how, like, Ace I actually understand a lot of the points he was making. And I go back and forth with the whole production argument because I do think production does influence a lot in the villa. And we can even go back to Leah and Miguel, who have said a lot of their love story was not shown because production did not want Miguel dumping Sierra that early on. They were trying to, like, drag it on more for drama. They kind of were trying to get Leah to get back together with Rob last season, but it just was not there, she said. And I feel like with, Miguel, they were not anticipating him breaking up with Sierra as soon, and they basically like punish him, and they wouldn't like show like a lot of their stuff. And Leah has remained very open about like not liking those producers and getting different producers for Beyond the Villa, which now I'm hearing she beefing with now because she's like, we barely got any airtime. And it's like, I'm glad you're in a happy relationship, but we don't want to see you in a happy relationship. Like, we want to see what Aaron and Kayla are talking about. In all honesty, that's over. I didn't even cap that at all because I'm glad it's over. I don't think it's coming back. It was so boring, you guys. Like, that was a hard watch. But Ace versus Nicolandria, he made some valid points in his interview with Speedy. I didn't know Speedy does not like Nicolandria. I remember seeing like one video before and fawning over Alandria. So maybe he's upset the white man got her. But he even was like telling her to get away from Taylor. So it's just like whatever. But Ace, in terms of this whole Nicolandria stuff, has remained very haterish vibes. And it's like, if you respect Alandria so much, I don't even know why you would attempt to stop her bag because she's in a mutually beneficial relationship with Nick. And his beef with Nick, for whatever reason, is because Nick was not defending his character. I will continue saying this. Ace and Shelly, and this is to both of them, they have been gagged and bothered ever since they have learned they were not America's top 4 to make it to the final. Ace said that it was something at the reunion that was not aired about like all of them asking like, was the right 4 in the finals? And I guess Nick said yes. He said he thinks that, but I think Ace's thing is like behind closed doors. Nick is saying, no, you guys didn't deserve to be there. Specifically, Huda and Chris should not have been there. Or even like Iris and Pepe should not have been there. So I think he's really hurt about that. But even when you look at the press and stuff and like you rerun some stuff, I feel like Ace and Shelly have been so like weird towards Nicolandria ever since they left. Like I remember reading their exit interview and they're like, who are you wishing wins? And I was assuming they were going to say Nicolandria's and they were like, oh, Amaya and Brian. I just think they've been shady to them ever since they've left because they're just gagged that they weren't a Cordell and Serena of the season. And there was no Cordell and Serena of the season. Every season is going to be different. I think they thought they were going to be the it couple. And then I saw an interview with Essence or something, them cooking in the kitchen. And then Shelly's like, we were best dressed, like top 2 and 3 and not 2 or 3. They just have a very entitled like sense of us against the world vibe. They're kind of clicking down for me, but Ace could have kept a lot of that to himself with the whole Nicolandria vibe because I just don't know. It's just giving faux, and I think a lot of people are threatened by a dark-skinned woman being loved properly and out loud by a different race. And I'll stop it there because I do think that is a lot of the beefs with what I'm seeing. I don't know why Ace would even threaten her money, even if it is a fake relationship. And I will keep saying, like, Alandria has consistently been like, people are like, who are you most excited to see? Who do you think is going to last the longest? She's constantly putting up Ace and Shelly. She's constantly like, oh my gosh, Shelly, she's my best friend. I never see it reciprocated. I see Shelly holding on to this 22-5 man. And that's going to be her biggest downfall, I think, Shelly. Because I just see her with a loser now. And Ace is a Leo. And I just feel like it's another thing with, like, Leos. Like, I feel like once they feel kind of, like, betrayed, they don't really let that stuff go. An unhealed Leo. I'm a very healed Leo. Some stuff you don't let go, like, you're going to be like... But I feel like Ace has been moving in a way where he thinks he's better than people. But it's like, he's like, we're not on here for, like, taking advantage of, the press and stuff after getting off a show. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. If you're on this banging show for the past summer hitting these world record numbers, you're supposed to take advantage of that clout. And that's exactly what Nick and Alandria have been doing. Amaya and them, Huda, like, that's what you're supposed to be doing. Don't think you're better just because you get off social media and focus on your relationship. When it's like now, you guys are on a press tour more than ever than you were before. You're throwing shade at everyone. Ace is over here crashing out. And it's like, for what? And then I just feel really bad. But I just feel really bad for Nick and Alandria because it just seems like they're so jealous because they have been deemed the it couple. Alandria has been deemed the diamond of the season. And I'm loving it. And she's also giving back to her college. She went to Tuskegee. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is a HBCU. Went there to talk. She's raised money for the Lupus Foundation, her and Nick, because her mom is a lupus survivor. Like, they're doing it the right way. She just linked up with Serena. Serena and her embrace. She was just at Marseille's summer cookout. Like, Alandria is the it girl. We're going to see her at fashion shows. We're going to, like, New York Fashion Week is coming up any moment now. Paris Fashion Week, Milan Fashion Week. She's going to be invited to these events. Alone, possibly. I don't see any of the other cast getting those type of invites because Alandria, you got Kenya Moore commenting on Watch Evans Live, make this woman a housewife, and Andy saying, I love her, like I need her on Bravo. Alandria is in a different lane. And they can't stand it. And I think Shelly is very jealous of it. I think Shelly's jealous of it. And I think Ace is very jealous of it. I think they are shocked because they had a better love story, which I don't buy. Like, you knew each other on social media. The story is not matching. It's not matching to me. They had a better love story, so I think they thought they would have gotten a better edit, a better, like, you know, this is us, this is, like, you know, we've done this. I think they thought they were going to get a better edit. And he's so concerned with his edit. I'm like, dude, you know how this works. I don't know. I watched the interview initially and liked it. Until towards the end, I was just like, wow, you actually are giving hater. Because even if I know my friend is in a fake relationship, a mutually beneficial relationship, who am I to stop their bag? Like, I just would never do that. That's not in me. I don't have it in me. So personally, I think Shelly and Ace think because they are the black love, they thought they were going to be next Cordell and Serena. And I think you miscalculated that terribly because every season there won't be a Cordell and Serena. There won't be a Leah Mego. There won't be a Janae. Because there just won't be. That was season 6. Season 7, there is a Nick and Alandria. There is a Huda. I'm sorry, those are the 3 people I see people are talking about. I said Amaya and Brian broke up and we don't really care to know. Apparently he scammed her. Poor Amaya. But, like, the fact that Amaya was supposed to be deemed the it girl as soon as out the villa, she is not. People were launching, like, scents based on Amaya papayas. People not getting sick of her. Because I'm kind of getting sick of her. I'm getting sick of, like, the, you can't keep a sensitive game. Like, I'm kind of getting sick of her act, too. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, okay, another one-liner. It's funny, but okay. Child, Ace is jealous, and I think Shelly's definitely jealous. I think they are, and as a black woman, I am definitely saying that, and I'm standing 10 toes down on it, and I hope I'm proven wrong, but even Alandria's mom was in some comment section of a video saying, it was a video about, like, if I was Alandria's mom, Alandria's people, I would have a serious conversation about the people that she did have this unique experience with, and just say, like, these are not your friends. And Alandria's mom was in the comment section basically saying, trust me, I've already had this conversation with her. I don't think that is genuinely your friend. And I think Alandria is going to have a lot of life lessons to learn, but it's good to see her and Serena link up. Serena was very, like, happy to see her. I think they will all be hanging out soon. And Landria just needs good folks around her that are not jealous by her success or threatened by her success. Let's move on to Love is Blind, because I watched that reunion. This is the UK one. I really enjoyed the season. Good news first, Meg and Karen are still together. I personally do not like Karen's new haircut. I think it's terrible, but I'm glad him and Meg are still together. And I always compare Karen and Katisha. I didn't even write anything for them because I'm so over them. Is it Katisha or Letitia? I think it's Katisha. I compare them to each other because I'm like, Katisha could have had Damala, and had a very positive experience and a very emotionally mature experience versus doing what she always does, what she did with Javin or whatever. The biggest shock to me was Saraver and Cal not being together. Ashley and Billy not being together did not shock me. I was not shocked at all. And then the biggest gag was the fact that it looks like Cal and Billy arranged their breakups around the same time, which was New Year's. So they both stayed in that relationship for 3 months. Like I said, Billy had no business saying yes. And it's like, if it was never 100% yes, I don't think I would have ever said it, but it did what Bardu did. Like, no, I hope we don't have to break up, but I don't think we should be together for marriage. No. Now Billy is on his second divorce. And it's like, you could have avoided all that by just saying no. So I don't know. The biggest gag for me was Saraver and Cal, but I'm not shocked because, like, I talked about, like, my hesitancies with them. I was like, it's kind of scary to me that he keeps, like, mentioning initially, like, you know, you're not my typical type. And then I also think it's something when your own siblings, like, I know how you are with women. You're in love with them. And then it's like, you kind of just, like, you don't need them. And it's kind of like you just dump them and move on. But I was hoping, because he says that his scariest experience through the whole thing would have been living with her, and he thought living with her was the easiest. So I was like, oh, period. And I don't know. I just was really hoping, like, the cultures, like, you know, like Pakistani, Indian, like, I was really hoping it just would have been a good path forward for both cultures. And maybe that's what I was more in love with. But Cal essentially sent Sarah over a text message saying it's not working. You know, I'm going to go to the gym. Why don't you have coffee? And that was that. And Sarah over did not see it coming. She said they had an amazing family Christmas. And then come, you know, New Year's, you know, it was just kind of over. Apparently, Cal and Billy linked for like a week of like boy time. And apparently Ashley and Sarah over got very similar text messages. And that was that. Apparently both of the ladies, Sarah over and Ashley, got very similar text messages from Billy and Cal. Just about like there being no spark, like, and try to make it work. The difference with Ashley and Billy, though, for me is like it was so clear this man was not 100% in. And I don't know why Ashley would even say yes. And I just feel like she could have saved herself the turmoil. Now, Cal, that is a literal wolf in sheep's clothing. I hope I said it right. But I don't know. That is the biggest gag to me was their breakup, and then the men concocting similar breakup text messages, stories, whatever. Jed and Bardu, there is still no clear response on what happened. I don't know why we didn't dig deep as hosts. Like, what were the arguments about? What were they bickering about? I'm still not getting it in my Giselle voice when, like, Karen's like, are you getting it? Giselle's like, I get it. And then her confessional, she's like, I don't get it. Like, because I still don't understand what they were arguing about. Like, I understand the ring thing, but he's like, the point of the experiment, the show, if people know I went on this show, they're not supposed to know if we're together or not. So turn your ring around. My ex is here. But she's saying you didn't tell me your ex was even there. I just knew some of your friends were there. So it's like, why are you prioritizing your ex? I get that. But other than that, what type of arguments were they having? And then she's like, I've just been in Dubai ever since. I'm like, okay. That was kind of weird. I still don't understand what kind of arguments they were having, what kind of bickers they were having. All I know is it was pretty serious because she said no at the altar. Sending to Javin and Sophie, who I really don't care to talk about. That woman is a mess. She says she's been in therapy. But I don't know. They said there was no curtain. There was no curtain on the photo booth. Either way, they were arguing. I don't know why the host didn't ask them what were they arguing about. So I'm not going to lie. I feel like the Love is Blind host did not do a good job. I feel like even Nick and Vanessa Lachey would have did a better job. But I'm just like, what were y'all arguing about that you had to go to the photo booth? Also, I don't really care about Anua. She low-key corny to me now. Like, girl, hey, this man did not pick you. I feel like this season of Love is Blind, we had a lot of women that just wanted to be married. And they would have been married and suffered. And it's like, these men did you guys good. Would you rather be married, suffering? I feel like the Love is Blind UK first season is really good. But it's like, would you rather be in these situations, these relationships, having kids with these men that clearly don't respect you or love you? Or would you rather be able to walk away with your head held up? And it's like, Anua is mad. The people were saying Patrick came in with a woman. He is now expecting to be a father any moment. That's why he wasn't at the reunion. But her and this liar thing that she is still holding on to, she thinks like he just spoiled her experience. So I'm like, you should have just opened up more, because even Anua, like, you weren't even really sold on Patrick until you're like, well, I really just want to get married. And it's like, I need to make myself uncomfortable. Sometimes your gut is telling you not to do things. And I feel like a lot of these women, they were just so thirsty this season to find someone to marry. And it was like, you were willing to go through the process. And that brings me to Katisha and Javin, because she has stood 10 toes down on the fact that she still would have picked Javin over Demila. Like, she just didn't feel nothing with Demila. Demila has become the fan fave. The girls are throwing themselves at him. He is still single, but I hope he finds someone soon. Like, he is the utmost sweetheart. And I don't know. I just feel like Katisha's still dumb. Like, she's like, I don't know. She's going to keep making the same cycles. But the biggest shock for me was Sarover and Cal being done. Especially because I thought they were coordinating, like, with their outfits. I was like, period. And I don't know. I think maybe I was more so sold on the culture thing and just wanting it to work out. And it, like, what are the odds of these two distinct cultures that are supposed to hate each other find themselves in these odds? I really thought that was a love story in itself, and I was really looking forward to it. But that was your Love is Blind reunion. I want to talk about Real Housewives of Miami before we close out. It is not lost on me Julia's double standard when it comes to Gertie and Marisol and Alexia. Gertie failed to join a Zoom call, and she joined it and it just dropped. She failed to do that, and Julia threw a whole glass of water, like, had this whole beef for her. That has been Julia's issue with Gertie this whole time. Versus Marisol and Alexia literally being in Seville, Spain with you, refusing to go on a PJ because they didn't like how Stephanie's challenging the power dynamics, which I also understand. I'm actually on their side, but they have the opportunity very well to go and watch you crown these godfathers who the kids haven't even met. They are just as old as your wife. Everything Julia does is performative. It's not lost on me, the double standard. But it's like, you understand Marisol and Alexia's decision. And even Gertie points that out in the after show. She's like, these are your so-called best friends that were actually there and they just couldn't make it for a 22-minute flight for you to crown your godfathers. But you're upset with me because I got in a Zoom call and I got kicked off and I couldn't really join. And I had appointments. Like, Julia, I hope Julia has some black men as figures for those two boys they are fostering. I don't think it's an adoption. And I'm not shocked her kids are not talking to her. I really think she's just fostering them. I don't see them raising these boys for the next 10 years, especially if Miami is off air. I really don't see it. And my biggest question to Julia, why do you have a bunch of old people? I'm sorry. Why do you have a bunch of older people as influences around these young, influential black boys? Where are the young black women around them? Where are the young black men around them? Older black men. I don't think they know what they're doing. I pray for those boys. Lisa said it was giving White Lotus, and I couldn't agree more. I don't even watch White Lotus. It was definitely giving that. So Stephanie is upset that Marisol and Alexia failed to show up for the PJ when they were actually in on the seating arrangement and all this stuff. They seemed fine with it. But Julia did make a point. She's like, you bring it up and like throw it in our faces and you come off very bossy. And then Stephanie's like, well, I'm clearly not that bossy if you're getting on my PJ. And that's literally the point. It's like, you will do something out of the kindness in your heart and then throw it back in somebody's face. And that's somebody that's always keeping score. And that's somebody I don't really like to have around me either. So I understand why they didn't go. We find out so much more though in the after show. And I definitely would recommend like everyone to watch like the after show. Because I guess they were trying to, Marisol and Alexia were trying to get a bunch of people not to go on the PJ, including Gertie, because I guess something happened between Gertie and Stephanie about her period. Like, she was upset because Lisa basically wasn't paying her no mind. Gertie was talking about a story very personal about, like she basically was not, like, educated on, like, her period and stuff. And I guess Lisa, like, cut her off and was talking about herself or something, like, mentioned something that had nothing to do. So Gertie had went off to tell the ladies, and Stephanie was like, are you serious? Like, I can't deal with this right now. Left. And basically was super mean to Gertie. Like, everyone said, like, Stephanie was super mean to Gertie, like, super dismissive. And so Gertie had went to Marisol and Alexia's room, and they were all basically saying, like, we're not getting on this PJ. Like, let's get a list together who's not going. Essentially, Stephanie texted Gertie. It was like, that was not directed towards you. I'm dealing with my own stuff. So they cleared it up, and Marisol and Alexia felt the type of way that Gertie went to her room to clear it up. But they were trying to get a group together that weren't going. Either way, I understand why they didn't go. Because it was giving like, well, dang, like, what if we do misbehave? Are you just going to leave us with no transportation? So I think they were trying to just put Stephanie in her place. I think Stephanie has a lot of misdirected trauma from her sisters. I think she acts a certain way, and I think that's why her sisters probably don't mess with her. I think her mom and dad only mess with her because access to the money. And my sweet tea boys from Married to Medicine, who I don't like. But I'm just saying, like, I think her parents only for her for the money. Her sisters, I think she probably does the same thing she's doing with this group of girls that she does to her sisters, because both your sisters don't talk to you. I just think that's a red flag. Like, it's giving Brittany Edie from Atlanta. Like, what are you doing? The fact that your sisters don't want to talk to you. And I think she does do that. I think she holds her wealth over people's heads. I think she thinks that, she got the new money and all this stuff around town. She is the lucky one. She's gracing you guys with access to her PJ. Girl, this is Miami. Kiki has access to several yachts. Dr. Nicole would never. Like, it's just giving that. It's like, girl, the PJ, somebody said at this point, the PJ needs a literal seat at the reunion, because that is all Stephanie can talk about. And that's why I say she just reeks of new money. I wonder if we're going to get any more story as to why her sisters don't talk to her, because I think that is some possible real tea. And it's just how she behaves. She does really, like, she throws her wealth in people's faces, and nobody want to be around that. Like, you can be wealthy and not do that. And they always say wealth whispers. Like, she just does too much, and she could learn a thing or two in Beverly Hills. It's just giving, like, so exhausting. But that's really what happened in that episode, is like that whole fiasco. And it's just like really interesting to me how like Julia has a different set of standards for Gertie versus Marisol and Alexia, and just proves how much she wants to be in with the cool girls. And it's also beyond me how these godfathers have not met your sons, but you're already godfathering them. And it's like, they are in Spain. Like, God forbid something does happen to you and Martina. They can't even godfather appropriately. They're not near these kids. Are they going to fly them out and going to be in the middle of Spain now? I mean, that would be a life to live. I'm not going to lie. But it's just not practical. And I feel like everything Julia does is so calculating and for the show. I want to know why your kids are not talking about you or talking to you. She's saying because you did not give them enough warning time, which I agree with. Especially you're putting them in a difficult situation. It's like, if something happens to you and Martina, these daughters are going to have to, take over probably and take care of these kids if you've actually adopted them or if they're fostering them. I don't know. So it's like, why wouldn't you give your kids more of, hey, this is what's happening? Like, I just get a phone call from my mom, like, hey, I've adopted these two boys. Like, what? Be so for real. I just feel like people be bored and with money. But that was really Miami. That was your toxic, but it is Tuesday episode. Stay tuned for Friday's What's the Reality on What the Reality. We have a really good topic. I'm super excited to talk about it. Thank you so much for listening. Please leave a 5-star rating and a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. Until the next time, bye. Period. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast, What the Reality, with me, Cashay Roberts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. Let me know what I should be doing. Let me know how I'm doing. All compliments are welcome. Until the next time.